Hello and welcome to another episode of Do Not Fade This podcast. My name is Joshua Reimer, joined by none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Jared Block. Jared, how are you doing on this fine Tuesday afternoon?
I'm doing all right. Still trying to get out of this under the weather stint here, but yeah, I think one of these. I think we need to have like a venting session here for the
Oh my
for the
gosh.
first 2 minutes of the show, because I made the horrific mistake of at the halftime point of all of our top plays. They were all doing really well. Jalen Brown was on track.
Fantastic.
LeBron was crushing. Jaren Jackson had a nice first half. Jabari Smith had a nice first half, and then I said, "Let's finish strong, chat." And then everything
Oh
fell
no.
apart over the last hour after I said that. So that is another friendly reminder that you're never in the clear in props until it's over, or until their marks are hit. So that goes for overs and unders. Unbelievably bad luck to start the week.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of a lot of times where LeBron's had 20 points and a half and he finishes under 25 points for the whole game. Uh, the JB spot was just that game stayed really low scoring all the way through, and JB just never got his. And um, yeah, really utterly shocking. And then like we talked about the Luca stuff on the podcast, how like Luca was kind of in a spot not to perform, and he ends up putting up one of the best performances of the day with like 40 plus points, almost a
Yep.
triple dub. Like absolutely astonished against that Chicago team. Um, yeah, just proves that some days are not the days that you want them to be, and that was kind of the case with yesterday. It was a smaller slate. I don't feel bad. I mean, like I feel bad. I feel bad anytime we lose a play, regardless of it's a small day, it's a large slate day, whatever. But we talked about it coming into it. It's definitely going to be the worst day of the week, at least knock on wood. It looked like it was going to be the worst day of the week when it come to like our selections of picks and everything, and just hoping we can rebound today. Which, if I know anything about us, I know we can. So. Yeah, excited to talk to you about this slate today.
Yep, sports betting and DFS fantasy, it's very humbling at times, and yesterday was certainly one of those days. We look to move on, though. Today's injury slate is loaded. It's way bigger than yesterday. And I do think that we can start by talking about what OKC is going to bring to the table today, because they're not going to bring a lot of players to the table, that's for sure. AJ Mitchell, Alex Caruso, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Jalen Williams are out for this game. Cason Wallace is questionable. They still have Dort, they still have Chet, they still have SGA, and that's making them still 14-point favorites. You have Murray, Watson, Valanciunas probable for Denver. Aaron Gordon joins the list of everybody that's out for them. Gordon, Brown, Cam Johnson, Nikola Jokic. He should be back in about a week, though, Jokic. So we'll see how that progresses. Jalen Green's questionable for Houston. Devin Booker's out. That's why I mentioned that. So very interesting to see that remark.
Jalen Green's out.
What did I say?
You said Jalen Green's questionable.
Okay. Jalen Green.
Colin
Devin
Gillespie's questionable.
Booker. Okay. Devin Booker's still out for them. Jazz. Interesting developments here. Lauri Markkanen's available to play, but Keontae George and Yusuf Nurkic are not playing today. Excuse me. Kawhi's questionable in the late game. Again, we're like all over the place here. What else really, really matters in this one? Oh, yeah, I mean, it's been a couple days, but Giannis is out for a month, probably 6 weeks. Zach LaVine, Malik Monk both got ruled out for Sacramento in the earlier part of the window. And then we have Denny Avdija questionable for tonight for Portland, an early nice matchup.
Yeah, I don't know if I think you said it. I don't remember. Embiid and Grimes are both questionable for Philly too.
Yeah.
So important stuff there that we have to kind of wait for. Though I know the whole chat might be up in against Tyrese Maxey right now because he is completely disappointed in back-to-back games. Hopefully he can get right. I mean, this is kind of a great spot to get right against this Bucks team, but hopefully he can. I know members won't be happy to hear that whatsoever. All right. Anything else injury wise? If not, let's head over to some implied totals.
Yeah, we should note Paul George is probable, and that again is tonight's the second night of the back-to-back. So, well, I don't have much faith in Embiid playing. We'll see. We'll talk about them as we go along here.
Yes, for sure. All right, let's kick it off with the highest implied team total of the day, which belongs to the Oklahoma City Thunder. They have a 124 implied team total here. They are 14.5 point favorites. Over under is set at 233.5. Like you mentioned, this OKC team is definitely without a lot of guys right now, dealing with the little injury bug. It's kind of hurt them recently too. They lost. They lost in the they lost against Toronto. They lost against Indy. They won against Milwaukee, won against Cleveland. They lost against Miami. So, like, 3 losses over the past 5 games, out of the running for that win title that they were looking for at the beginning of the year, or that they were looking poised to at least threaten. What do you think about OKC here?
It's a minor pace-up spot. This game's a relatively fast-paced game in general. Their implied team total of 125 points is obviously something that they can get in this matchup. Pelicans' fifth worst defensive rating in the NBA. They're allowing the third most above the break threes. They're allowing the third most restricted area field goals. That's not really SGA's sweet spot. That's more of like the paint / the mid range where he kind of thrives. But he is taking a lot of restricted area field goals right now. I think the tougher thing to get behind is like, who are you really trusting when it comes to the 3-point making? Like, yes, you do have Chet, you do have Dort, you do have SGA, you even have Isaiah Joe in like break in case of emergency type situations. I don't know. It just feels like a Chet SGA day. And then from there, you figure out, can you find value with some of the other players on this team? Trends tell us that Kenrich Williams is playing well in a couple of these games with Hartenstein and Jalen Williams out. Jalen Williams, the center, the backup center, he's actually not performing well in games where Hartenstein and Jalen Williams have missed. He's fallen under 16 PRA at all 3 of those games. And then finally, Dort, 20-plus PRA in 3 of 4 games played this month without Hartenstein and Jalen Williams. So we have a decent sample size. I will say that's been like a roller coaster of 3 or 4 games of that, and you kind of mentioned that. Yeah, I mean, obviously, anybody will tell you Shea and Chet are your primary options. It's about how good you feel about relying on that.
Yeah, for sure. I do like this spot for Isaiah Joe. Like, if I'm going outside of the, just touting the Shea and Chet spot, I think Isaiah Joe would be the guy that I go to. Feel good about him coming off the bench. Feel good the amount of threes he's been attempting recently. Over the last 4 games, he's had 3 games with 7+ 3-pointers attempted. He's not necessarily converting on a lot of these, which is not, the most ideal thing ever. But at the end of the day, I feel like against this Pelicans team, you're just looking for guys who are taking the shot at the end of the day. Because if they're taking the shot against this team, they're most likely going to end up thriving. So I like the Isaiah Joe spot. He ends up taking... I was just looking at this with AJ Mitchell, Isaiah Hartenstein, Alex Caruso, and Jalen Williams off the floor. He is taking 8.4 3-pointers per 36 minutes, which he's not going to play 36 minutes today. We all know that. He's probably going to play more around that mid-20s range, but that mid-20s range means he's probably taking around 7. Jalen Williams, the center Jalen Williams, is right there with him. He's taken 7.5 threes when those guys are off the floor per 36 minutes. Aaron Wiggins is taking 6.9 threes per 36 minutes with those guys off the floor. So some things to keep in mind here and there, but I think at the end of the day what it comes down to is that like I like this Isaiah Joe spot outside of like the Shea and Chet spot, which I think, like you said, like Shea really thrives in the mid-range and in the paint non-restricted area spots, but I kind of don't know if that really matters when you go up against a guy like Shea. Like, I think he's going to get his regardless in those areas, even if the team does have solid defense. I feel perfectly fine with Shea, and I feel good about the spot overall for OKC.
Yep. I mean, the 3-point data is, kind of sad to look at, but I think that it is something that a lot of these guys can get there. At the end of the day, one final note on this. Mentioned Dort. Just want to give a final stamp on this one. 3+ threes in 4 of the last 6 games, and he had been. I think that Joe and I think that Jalen Williams and I think that some of these guys have good spots to bounce back, but in terms of guys that have done it from 3-point range, it is Lou Dort in some of these recent scenarios.
Yeah, can certainly get behind that. Man, Shea has not done well against this Pelicans team in the past. Like, only
Yeah.
gotten over this 32.5 mark one time out of the last 12 times he's
know.
faced them. Only had 30-plus points in 5 out of the 12 times he's faced. I mean, usually that 30-point mark is kind of automatic for him. Not necessarily. I wonder if that's an Herb Jones thing, where, like, Herb's just really good on-ball defender, really tough defender overall. I imagine Herb automatically switches over and takes that responsibility for the whole day. Wonder if that potentially leads to Shea maybe not having a good day.
Yeah, I could certainly see that, and it's not going to look any better if you filter by in the games they've won by 10. He's only hit 33 points in one of those games, though. He is hitting 30 a lot, so I think it's just kind of just it's one of those things where, like, if you're betting on Shea, it's very similar to Shohei, where, like, you need everything to go right. And
Very true.
If he goes 75% from the free throw line, it's probably not going to get you there.
Yeah, probably not going to get you there for sure. All right, if you're ready, I'm ready. We can move on to this next team.
We can move on.
It is the Clippers up next, who are facing off against the Utah Jazz. This one's in Utah. Clippers have a 121 implied team total here. 8.5-point favorites. Over-unders at 233.5. Should be mentioned that, like, they started out as 11-point favorites this morning. This line has shifted quite a bit. I don't know if that's them anticipating Kawhi being out. There hasn't really been any other injuries, so something to at least keep in mind. Maybe it's Laurie getting ruled in, though I think that Keontae getting ruled out kind of crosses that out completely. But yeah, give me your thoughts on this Clippers team. What do you like about them? What do you not like about them?
Yeah, Nurk's out too. I'm sure that's a contributing factor, though he was doubtful this morning, so that's kind of already sort of baked in. Unfortunately, we're just in a spot where, like, is this game screams an exact replica of last night's Wolves-Warriors game, where we found out that Draymond and Steph got ruled out, and then following that, Ant got ruled out or downgraded to questionable, and then out within, like, an hour before the game, essentially. So I don't feel great about this. We've already talked about this Kawhi stuff in general. He's just going to be questionable in a majority of these upcoming games before the break. I think that you could talk yourself into a lot here. Like, we know this is a really good spot for James Harden from 3, though if you look at what he's done against Utah, it doesn't look good.
Really?
So, yeah, I mean, maybe I'll need to look at this again as a refresher, but when I initially looked, I was like, I can't find anything that I like for James Harden in terms of this history. Though yeah. I will say that, like, Kawhi being out, you kind of just de factoing that, and he probably has a good shot of hitting 30-plus points like he's done with Kawhi out in a majority of these games. So, I don't know. I think, I just wasn't, like, super thrilled about anything in there. We'll also mention that John Collins has gotten there from a rebounding aspect in both games against Utah this year. He's had 7 and 11, and obviously he'd be a huge contributor if Kawhi were to miss. It's a tough spot to feel confident talking to you about it on the podcast without knowing this information, though obviously they deserve to have a high team total. It's a massive pace-up situation. Yeah, I mean, you can talk yourself into a lot of things. I guess, where do you start outside of Harden?
Yeah, I like the Kawhi stuff. I'll keep going back to the well. I still think even with it being like a game against Utah, he ends up playing. He played against the Nets just a couple days ago. So, like, they're playing against the Nets with this questionable tag. I kind of just think it's more of a probable tag that they list as questionable, as I've said a couple times. So I like Kawhi here. I like the above the break 3 stuff he's shown very recently. We've talked about it a few times, how that's definitely spiked for him. I like the John Collins stuff too. Like, he did play for this Utah Jazz team. I don't know how narrative driven that really is at the end of the day, but we know he played for the team. We know that, like, he has some sort of connection to Utah. So I can get behind Collins. Really, I'm focused on those two. Harden stuff in general has looked pretty bad. I mean, you take out the historics and just take over, like, his recent play. He shot 2 for 8 from above the break threes over the past 7 games. Just 25% clip, not very Harden-like. It seems like he's just kind of going through a slump right now and kind of deferring to Kawhi instead. Yeah. So I like the Kawhi spot a lot and like the Collins spot too. And I'm fine with riding both of them.
Let's take a look at the next best, because I did not get to take a look at this specifically. So live research on the air. Who on the Clippers is the best above the break three scorers? Oh, we talked about this last week. Kawhi is way better
It's
than Harden,
Kawhi.
like almost
Yeah.
doubling him
Yeah.
from that regard.
Over the last 7, he is doubling him. It's 4 and
Right.
2.
That's crazy.
Very.
From there, you have no confidence. Like, I don't think you can count Pat Baldwin in here. Is he still even on the active roster?
No, I don't know.
Brooke Lopez, I guess, if you want to really talk yourself into something, that's possible. Collins is a much better corner. He's like the best corner three scorer in the NBA. You can kind of like talk yourself into that a little bit, but it really just falls off a steep cliff when you're talking above the break three stuff for this team.
Yeah, Kawhi's not only doubling Harden, but they're taking the same amount of shot attempts too. Like Kawhi's 4 for 8 on above the break threes over the last 7 games. Harden is 2 for 8 on above the break. Like that's pretty insane that he's yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like the Collins corner 3 stuff too. This Jazz team has been bad from 3-point range all the way around. So corner 3 stuff for Collins definitely works out here just fine. All right, anything else for the Clippers here? If not, let's move on to the next team.
I should have included this in trends, and I'm surprised I didn't get there. But it should be noted that Collins has hit 2 or more threes in 7 of the last 10 games.
Yep, for sure. All right, let's talk about this next team. It is the New York Knicks as they face off against the Sacramento Kings. They have a 120.25 implied team total. They're 14.5-point favorites. Over-under is set at 226 here. Coming into this one fully healthy, no injuries on the report, so that's nice to see from this team. Give me your thoughts. What do you think about the Knicks today?
Yeah, it's nice to see that they've been just playing like bad basketball recently. So
Very bad.
At least they are healthy. I don't know, man. They've played this Sacramento team a couple of games ago, and it was the game that Jalen Brunson got hurt in. So it's not a great sample of like really endorsing this on this side. When I wrote the spot up, I wasn't really overall thrilled with it. It feels like a team that I would probably, if we were talking baseball, be like, this is a top stack I'm not really super sure about. But a lot of people will attack the spot today because we know that the Kings have the 3rd worst defensive rating in the NBA. Technically, it's a pace-up game in this situation, just given how slow New York runs in general. They're allowing the most paint field goals per game over the last 30 days in the NBA, which is roughly 12.6 off of 24 attempts. Brunson, technically the team leader from the paint. We know he's a driving, scoring guard in that zone. I would say that this, we normally see him closer to that 3.5 to 4 field goals made in the paint per game, but now it's down to 2.6. So there are 2 guards on the slate, Cade Cunningham as well, that are just not getting there from a scoring position when it comes to recency stuff. So I don't know. Just be cautious with New York. I'm not saying this is a diehard Brunson spot. I think Cat can get out of his recent scoring slump too, though it's just tough outside of that, given everybody's health.
Yeah, Brunson's in the paint, non-restricted area scoring over the last 7 games is just 1.8 field goals, so 3.6
Yikes.
points.
That's injury-driven for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's partially that game, but also just like, man, that's really low. I mean, he's averaging 6 over the whole year. That's extremely low. Very interesting stuff there. Yeah, I can totally get behind this being a Knicks team where you're like, yes, they have a high implied team total. That doesn't mean that I'm all that excited about this team, or at least because they're fully healthy. I can't really diagnose exactly what I want from the team as a whole. So happy to stay away from it.
It's weird because the lower drives aren't even resulting in more assists.
Yeah,
he's fallen under 7 assists in 8 of the last 10. That does include the game that he got hurt in, but like you'd expect it to at least do that. Maybe there's just too many bodies going around right now.
per chance, per maybe. All right, let's move right along. You want to cover one more team, or you want to head over to hottest shooters? Up to you.
I think we have to cover one more team just because we've destroyed every take so far.
Yeah, we definitely haven't liked a lot of these top implied totals. I think we like this one a little bit more, or at least we might based on what injury news we get. But it's the Portland Trail Blazers as they face off against the Wizards. They have a 119.5 implied team total. They're 6.5-point favorites, and the over-under is set at 232.5. Like we mentioned at the top of the show, we're still waiting on news for Denny Avdia and Robert Williams. But there's definitely guys that can take advantage of this good matchup against Washington. If those two don't play, or if they do play, there's definitely good spots for them. So give me your thoughts on the Trailblazers here.
Yep. Duop, and Chris Murray got ruled out too, so that does free up some stuff. This is also the second night of the back-to-back for Portland. I think you like a lot here, though. I will say, just to start this off, I don't want to get negative again to start early, but like Washington's not really bleeding points to any specific position. They've been below average to every position basically, but they're not like worst five, defense in terms of that regard. They do have the fourth worst defensive rating, so you can get excited about that. It's a fast-paced game environment in general. Portland's on the road, and Washington, I would say, is playing slightly better. I mean, not confidently, but like you can argue that they have been, at least to a certain degree. So I'm expecting this one to stay relatively competitive. And I do think that if you're looking at zones, they're allowing a lot of corner threes, and they're allowing a lot of restricted area shots right now, are the Wizards. And we've talked about this with Portland before. We don't feel super confident with them when it comes to three-point matchups, but you could argue Tamani Kamara is the top corner three scorer on this team. It's like one field goal per game, so that's not extreme confidence. But you do have solid restricted area scorers in Avdia, and if he doesn't play, then you can rely on Sharp and Donovan Clingan. DVP points to Clingan having one of the better outlooks of the day in terms of his rebounds and assists category. Again, like you try to talk more highly of this spot than I.
Yeah, I have a little bit of trouble doing so. I mean, so the only thing that gives me some hope is the fact that this Wizards team did get pretty burned by Charlotte over the weekend. Charlotte was able to score a lot of above the break threes and was able to kind of shoot well, and that gives me hope for guys like Caleb Love, who can maybe show some prowess in that regard. Shaedon Sharps, those type of guys. I feel like you kind of just need your injury news to come through. If Denny's sitting, I get really excited about the Shaedon Sharp spot overall. I think he does become their main driver. He gets more restricted area field goals. You feel better about him as a whole. If Denny plays, I feel like it does kind of cloud things up where I'm not nearly as excited about the team as a whole. But, yeah, I think you kind of need to wait out this Denny news.
Yeah, and you'll get it because this is the first game on the slate, so it's nice. Yeah, Robert Williams is always a question mark too. But let's see, would they even have a backup center considering Duop's out already? Yang Hansen. Yeah, good luck getting the floor for him. So I don't know. The thing that I feel the best about on this side and in this game is Donovan Clingan, and I think that you can roll with that for right now.
Yeah, maybe the most exciting thing on this team could potentially be this spot for Alex Sarr on the other side. Like, I think that's the guy that
you're right.
I really like. I mean, I don't know, we're not talking about the Wizards right now, but like Sarr walks into a really good scoring matchup that you can really get behind. So that gets exciting. I feel like that's almost the case for all of these teams, right? Like for all the teams we talked about, you talk about guys on the other side of the ball, and you start to get a little bit more excited about their matchups compared to these top implied team total matchups. Yeah, certainly an interesting day as we talk it through. All right, anything else, Jared? If not, let's head over to hottest shooters.
Yeah, let's move over to hottest shooters.
For sure, let's do exactly that. I can start out if you want. If you want to start out, you certainly can. Let me know what you want to do.
I'll start by saying Tyrese Maxey won't be on this list.
Yeah, if we had an inverse, that's where he'd be.
Yeah, I think that we have seen with Saddiq Bey coming back that some of the stuff in New Orleans has shifted around a little bit, but I think both of these guys do line up here. Maybe it's because they're getting lower markets, but it should be at least noted that like Trey Murphy has not stopped scoring. He still has 21 plus points in 8 of the last 10 games. It's not like ridiculous near 30 every night stuff, but it's still very consistent at the 20 number. Zion has also had a streak of his own, 21 plus points in 7 of the past 10 on his end. So even with Bey coming back and kind of disrupting things, Murphy and Zion have still continued to score.
Yeah, can for sure get behind that. The guy that I was going to bring up immediately, I feel like this Joel Embiid spot has to be talked about.
Yep.
We're seeing like true like old Joel Embiid on the floor right now, and it's been really fun to watch, man. I mean, we're seeing like his true like what he was before the injuries took place. 4 dominant games where he's had 30 plus points in each one of them. He's getting more rebounds, at least as of recent, and we're seeing him factoring into the assist category too. So, be hard not to mention him in this top shooters category. And I wonder how he's matched up against Miles Turner in the past, but I think regardless of how he's matched up against Turner in the past, I'm still pretty excited about this spot regardless of DVP as long as he ends up playing.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think that, I've kind of already admittedly considered Embiid not playing today, but he certainly is on a roll right now. I hope it's not coming too early. You kind of have to worry about that.
Yeah, you do for sure. All right, who else you got for hottest shooters here?
There's really not a lot to look at on this slate in terms of that category. I will use this opportunity to talk about what Bobby and Ryan Rollins have done without Giannis this year, because it's got a big sample size, because this is now his third long-term injury. With that said, Ryan Rollins has recorded 36 plus PRA in 5 of 6 games played without Giannis and Kevin Porter. Remember, he's out too. It's been a long time since both have been out. This was like one of the first weeks of the season, so that's at least noteworthy to say. Bobby Portis is at 2 plus 3s in 6 straight. I'll talk about him again from, I don't know if we'll have the chance to, but he's in a really, really good corner 3 spot today. If there's one thing Philly doesn't do well, it's allow corner 3 scoring, and I think Bobby's right behind John Collins for a top 5 number in that regard in the NBA. He also has 9 rebounds in 5 of the past 6 games without Giannis, so not too many strong scoring trends. Ryan Rollins has been the best scorer without Giannis and KPJ both, but quite a few rebound trends that you see here in our rundown.
Yeah, for sure. Can certainly get behind that. I will at least somewhat mention Lauri Markkanen. I know he's coming off of this injury stretch, so it's hard to call him the hottest shooter, but he has had 24 plus points in 8 out of the last 10 games. He's been super consistent in that regard. He is another one of these guys, just like I talked about with Michael Porter on Sunday, where he's not done well against the Clippers in the past. He has had less than 20 points in 4 straight games against the Clippers, or 20 points or less in 4 straight games against the Clippers. So I don't know how confident I feel on the spot with him getting that Kawhi defense most likely, but definitely has shown some hot shooting as of recent, just not against this Clippers team.
My fun fact of the day that kind of fits into this segment is that Igor Dieman has made a 3-pointer in 32 consecutive games. And if he hits another one tonight, he would tie the rookie record in the NBA.
There you go. Very solid. All right, anything else here? If not, let's move right along the round table.
Nope, we can move on.
All right, for those who don't know how it works, Jared and I bring some of our top plays to the table in different statistical categories. Those categories are points, rebounds, and assists. Jared, I'll let you start it off. We start off on points, like always. Where do you want to go?
This podcast is going on a generational crash out run because I'm going Tyrese Maxey.
Oh, God.
This is the Tyrese Maxey spot. It
Lord.
is. It's the Tyrese Maxey spot. He hit 50 against this team earlier in the year. That was back in November. He did have a stinker against them in the early part of December, but we've just seen point guards obliterate Milwaukee. Like I went through it this morning with the chat, and over the past, the last, since January 6th, 5th, whatever you want to call it, last 3 weeks or so, they've just gotten destroyed by opposing point guards. Shea destroyed them, Curry destroyed them. Who else? Even Jalen Pickett did well. I think that CJ McCollum, Nickeil Alexander-Walker had a 7 3-point game. Like, the only guy that falls short was De'Aaron Fox, who hooked on his market, so there's a lot going right. Like you're seeing like nearly 80% of the point guard field go over their markets against Milwaukee, and a lot of it has to do with above the break 3 scoring. And I do think that that's in his wheelhouse, though. Again, very inefficient as of late. But yeah, if I get the Maxey spot wrong, and that's what it is, I'm just gonna we'll play with fire today.
Yeah, definitely understand that. I definitely understand the DVP and everything else working out for it. And yeah, I understand the spot looking good. It's hard to get behind it when he's been so cold, but I definitely understand the spot looking good. I'm going to go over to Dylan Brooks here, who gets this spot without Jalen Green and without Devin Booker. And with both of them off the floor this season, his usage rate is all the way up at 36%, Jared. I was floored when I heard the number. My jaw dropped. And this is the Nets team that has been struggling against the three. They've allowed the eighth most points to small forwards over the last 7 games, led the sixth most 3-pointers to that position as well. Yeah, I really like the spot for Dylan Brooks. I'm pretty sure it fell short when I talked about it on Sunday, but I'm willing to go back to the well. He scored 26 in that game, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if you looked and saw in every game without Booker, he's put up at least 20 shots, because it feels like that's something he does pretty consistently. So he likes ball hogging a little bit. I could certainly get behind the spot for Dylan Brooks today.
All right. Yeah, interesting stuff there. You said at the beginning that Jalen Green is out too. He got ruled out after the first thing. Oh, he's taking his headphones off. Josh, is
Hi.
Devin Booker and Jalen Green are out today?
Yes.
Okay, that changes some things. Let's see. Rebounds.
Sorry.
Pretty good. I'm gonna go to this. It's a spot we're not going to talk about a lot, but something we have noted recently is that the point guard position has been rebounding like crazy against the Clippers. And while I know that that is not going to be Keontae George tonight, I think you can lean in and play Isaiah Collier here. You've seen, look, am I reading this right? Yeah. Over 70% of point guards have hit their rebounding line recently against this team. And we've seen a lot of, I know that there's not a lot of true point guards on this list. A lot of them are backups, but Luka had 11 rebounds in the spot. Carrington had 6. So those are notable names, and I think we could see Collier play. Like, he just played 37 minutes against this team earlier this month, and he has the ability to play 30-plus minutes in the spot. He's the starting point guard tonight, right? It's not Ace.
Yeah, I'd assume it's Collier. At least that's what we're expecting, I'll say.
Yeah. 6 boards in the last game against Miami. This is a similarly profiling spot. I will say it's a much more paced down environment, but yeah, you take George off the floor and things can look good here.
Yeah, can certainly get behind that. I am going to go to this rebounding spot for Chet here against this Pelicans team. While I was pretty enraged about how Wemby scored on Sunday, he did a really great job of rebounding. He got 16 boards against this team, and we've seen starting centers have kind of been dominating in this spot. Wemby had 16, Landale had 11 against this team, Duran had 15. These guys with high rebounding lines end up coming through. And I think Chet's just going to be the next in line to do it. So, yeah, I like Chet. I like Chet from all angles, but I like him points, rebounds, assists. But we'll stick with rebounds here, obviously, because that's the category we're in. And, yeah, really like the spot.
I'll give you another guy that I think you can buy into today. But I will start this take with, I just think that, excuse me, this is a tremendous assists opportunity for Ryan Rollins, who doesn't have KPJ, doesn't have Giannis, should have the highest usage rate on the team or be very close to it. And I think that the offense just has to run through him today to have any shot at anything. So I'll go with Ryan Rollins here. The other guy I was going to just mention, because I kind of crapped on it earlier, was that this is a bounce back assist spot for Jalen Brunson. The Kings have allowed the second most assists to point guards. We talked about the pace-up stuff. All of it looks really good. It's just he hasn't been converting. So he's another name, too.
Yeah, can definitely get behind that. I'll go to this assist spot for Shaedon Sharpe. I know the line's really low at 2.5, but where the Wizards are giving up assist is the shooting guard position. They've given up the third most over the last 7 games, the most over the whole season. Sharpe's been really consistent at this 2.5 line, which is weird to tout someone for being consistent for having 3+ assists, but he's getting the job done. He's had 3+ assists in 8 out of the last 10, so I can at least get behind the low line here for Shaedon Sharpe. And I think it's one where it's regardless of if Denny plays, if Denny doesn't play, it doesn't really matter. You can just still rely on this line regardless. Okay. Anything else you want to mention here? If not, we'll head over to Two Minds Are Better Than One.
Speaking about that sharp stuff, we had the opportunity last night to see Drew Holiday in a really, really good matchup, and he just didn't perform.
Yeah.
They just continued to not play him a lot of minutes, and Sharp's just he doesn't have a leash, and we saw that kind of just directly translate to running the offense with Denny out. So just notable there.
For sure. All right, let's head over to Two Minds Are Better Than One. For those who don't know how it works, Jared and I go back and forth, each of us selecting 2 player props each. We put those into our parlay with the goal of the parlay to be between plus 100 and plus 150. Speaking of Drew Holiday, he ended up coming short along with Jaylen Brown to end up selling us on last night's Two Minds Are Better Than One. Donovan Mitchell had an absolute banger of a night, and LeBron at least got to 18 plus. So we're half the way there. Let's make it the 100% of the way there tonight. All right, I'll let you go first. Where do you want to go?
We're going to go with Donovan Clingan rebounds. The Wizards have allowed the most rebounds to this center position on the entire year. That's still a bottom 10 number over the last 7 games. And I do think that you could play the RA market, but for this specifically, we'll go with rebounds. Over the last 5 games, Donovan Clingan is the NBA leader in rebound chances per game, Josh, at 23.6 chances. And he got there last night in an extremely tough matchup. He had 16 boards against Boston, which is like one of the hardest rebound matchups in the NBA. So, yeah, I'll go with Clingan here. Probably 8 boards would give you minus 300.
No. 9 boards give you minus 620. Wow. 10 boards gives you minus 372. I mean, the line's at 12, so yeah, where do you want it?
Go 10.
Let's go 10. I'm down with it. I am going to go with Dillon Brooks for 18 plus points. Already talked about the Brooks spot. No need to over-exaggerate it here. Really like the usage he gets without Booker and without Green. Even though the usage he just gets without Booker alone is solid. So, yeah, let's go with Dillon Brooks.
We'll shift back over to Ryan Rollins. Talked about it earlier. We'll go with the PRA stuff. 36 plus PRA in 5 of 6 games played without KPJ and Giannis. In those games, it was, again, earlier on in the year, he was averaging almost 9 rebound chances per game as well as just over 10 potential assists per game. So I do like the peripherals. Do think he's got a chance to lead the team in scoring here as well. Yeah, you can go with anything here. Like, he's religiously at 36. So I'm cool with 25.
Perfect. I had it in as 25 already, so that works out really well. We will go with trying to think of what angle I want this John Collins play to be. If I want it PRA or just points or you said he's been rebounding consistently, right?
Against this team. So
against this
that's
team.
Got there's something there. Maybe he's a bit more aggressive on the boards than Utah.
Yeah, we'll go with it. We'll go just PRA just to make it a little bit safe. And I'll go with 15 plus. Pretty easy number for him to hit. So altogether, we have Dillon Brooks for 18 plus points, Donovan Clingan for 10 plus rebounds, Ryan Rollins for 25 plus PRA, and John Collins for 15 plus PRA. Altogether, gets you the plus 124 for your odds there. Not too shabby. All right, Jared, let's get out of here. What are your final thoughts?
We'll likely have to wait until 6:30 Eastern for Denny Avdia news. Robert Williams being in or out is certainly going to change a few things that we could look at, but I would think, given the recent spread the last time I checked, that I think there's a good chance that Denny doesn't play. So we'll see how that goes, but still, we'll wait for that news. But further than that, what are we waiting on that's really that critical besides Kawhi? And we're not going to get that for 2 hours, 3 hours maybe. So
Colin Gillespie news. We need that.
Yeah, a Phoenix starting lineup.
Yeah. Embiid. I mean, I know you think he's not going to play.
Yeah, you're right. I keep forgetting about that.
I don't know if it's like that for sure. I would probably lean on no as well, but he didn't play in the back-to-back. So, I don't know, unless this is a real injury. He didn't play yesterday against Charlotte. So, he should be playing on the second half of the back-to-back, but the fact that he's questionable means something. I don't know. I'm interested in the Embiid news.
From there, we know that a bunch of guys in OKC are out. What's our consensus take? Is it Dort that we're looking at? Is he the cop out answer outside of the two stars?
Yeah, that or Isaiah Joe as well for me is the guy that I like look at for sure. But it's one of those two definitely outside of Chet, which I don't know. I'm just kind of not on the SGA spot today. I think. Then again,
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
say
not
that
really
and he'll
either.
go over. He'll have 1,000 points or whatever because that's what he does when
he
I
was-
doubt him.
He was the Prize Picks taco this morning,
Ooh.
and I saw it. They discounted his PRA to 38.5, and technically, if you filter by home games where the Thunder have won by double digits, he's hit that in 72 games or 72% of games. Excuse me.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's
Oh,
going to be a spot where it takes, again, if you're playing SGA regular straight up, like I'd probably look elsewhere today. I think that it's just going to have to get as close as possible for him in order to get there all the way. I'd feel a little bit more comfortable with Chet probably overall. And then one more thing I wanted to mention before we start wrapping things up here is that this is another spot where like it's not as egregious as it was against Charlotte, but the writing was on the wall for that matchup, and it is kind of here as well. I think Trey Murphy could have a monstrous night from three against OKC, and that's what would keep this game close, and that's probably what would lead to Chet and SGA getting there.
yeah, for sure. In games that Shea has played at home this season and they have won by 10, he has gone under 45 PRA in 11 out of 15 games. So a little interesting tidbit there for sure. All right. Anything else? If not, let's get to shooting the shit, talking about other sports stuff.
No, I'm good. Yeah, just keep an eye on the Embiid stuff. Keep an eye on the. Oh, do you have any other closing thoughts on Alex Sarr? 'Cause we hardly talked about Washington today, and that's notable.
I like the spot. I don't know if I like I've watched a couple Washington games recently and I don't like his aggressiveness. He can kind of fall into the background sometimes, which is a little bit disappointing. But the spot's really good. The upside is certainly there. He's taking a good amount of shots recently at the very least. And I think it just kind of all works out for him, right? Like Portland's allowing a lot of center points. They're also allowing a lot of restricted area shots and paint shots. That's where Sarr's bread and butter kind of is right now. So I like the spot overall. I would only take points here. I don't want rebounds. I don't want PRA for him. I just want points. But I like the spot.
Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna just switch right to this because I was looking for it and I couldn't find it, and I found somewhat of what I was looking for, but I'm now mind blown, so we have to talk about this. Did you know, or can you give me the team that has the best five-man lineup in the NBA this year? They are not on the slate today, if that helps.
Team that has the best starting five lineup. Or just
Best
five-man
lineup.
Best five-man lineup. And they're not on today's slate?
Not on
Kind
today's
of
slate.
kind of figured it wasn't going to be OKC. Figured it wasn't going to be Detroit. I have no clue. Who is it?
The Charlotte Hornets. They have the best five-man lineup in the NBA this year.
Gross.
And I think that they said not starters because they've gone different directions with their center. But it's LaMelo Ball, Konka Nipple, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges, Musa Diabate. They are a plus 81 in 146 minutes, which is roughly 19 games. And their net rating of 29.4 is in a minimum of 200 possessions is the best in the NBA.
Gross, gross, gross.
I also saw that they had like the second best defense in the league per defensive rating this month.
Yeah, they've been cooking, man. I mean, that Charlotte team's not like the worst ever right now, which is intriguing to
Right now.
watch.
Right
now.
You know, peak January.
It is mid-January or end of January, I guess. So let's not count on it lasting much longer. All right, you got anything else? If not, let's get out of here. Unless you want to shoot the shit about it. I mean, there's really not much sports stuff going on. So if there's anything else you want to mention?
Brewers prospect, I think he's number 3 overall. Jesus Maid got an invite to training camp, so that's good
Nice.
news for me.
Good news.
And yeah, Brewers have 6 guys in the top 100 prospect list.
know you're not a big video game guy, but Aaron Judge is the MLB The Show cover
Yeah.
athlete this year. He is the first player since Joe Mauer to make the cover twice in a row. Not twice in a row, but twice ever.
Twice in general.
Yeah, twice in general, which is pretty cool. I'm definitely gonna. Usually, I get my games digitally. I'm gonna buy the game probably and get the case and everything because I have the other one too.
Nice.
But yeah, really cool stuff there for him. Any thoughts on the head coaching hirings? I think Joe Brady is like a terrible decision, and I think it's really funny that Eagles can't find an OC. But anything else?
I just don't know how you keep a GM, fire the head coach, and keep the quarterback.
Everyone
but
got a
still
promotion
promote.
except for McDermott.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I saw something hilarious that was like, you know, what would be great, like the bet, you know, something along the lines of like, you know, who would be a great DC hire, just to make sure like everything look really really good for Buffalo. It's McDermott. They switch
That
roles.
would be funny. That would be hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you think that Joe Barry's the answer.
Yeah. Did
Also
Joe Brady not
questionable.
get a head coaching opportunity with the Giants? Am I thinking of someone else? No, I'm thinking of Joe Judge, I think.
Joe Judge.
someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw something earlier this afternoon on X that was like, it was, the Bills realized that the only way to make the Super Bowl in the AFC East was to have it go through Brady, and that's why they hired. And I thought that was pretty funny. Felt like a true moving laterally type decision. Just like the Cowboys with who's their head coach? Shotton, whatever his
Yeah.
name is. Felt like a lateral decision.
Pittsburgh did the same thing. They went with Mike McCarthy, who I think is like just.
You know,
Have you seen the head-to-head stats of Mike McCarthy and John Harbaugh?
no.
Because they're basically identical. They've each won a Super Bowl. They have roughly the same winning percentage, and they have like a lot of like, you know, consecutive playoff run stuff. I don't know, man. If you're Pittsburgh, I don't think that you're happy with Mike McCarthy. It feels like a Rodgers forced decision, who hasn't even confirmed that he's playing this year. So I don't know. Maybe they run it back one more time, but
I think I watched a video by The Athletic today about a whole bunch of stuff of why Mike McCarthy was actually a good hire, and I kind of got behind him a little bit. I think just a little bit. I'll need to see it happen. But like they were just talking about how well he did with Rodgers in developing him. He's developed other quarterbacks as well. He's like a really true quarterback guru.
oh yeah,
And
for sure.
like they needed someone who was actually going to be effective on offense, and that's what McCarthy did in Dallas. That's what McCarthy did with Green Bay. Is like he was really good at heading the offense. So he'll need like a DC there, but like it's a good hire if you're looking to develop a quarterback, and I think that's what the Steelers need next is like to develop someone.
That's fair because I don't think Rodgers plays more than this year if he were to come back.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. All right, we've shot the shit enough. Anything else, Jared? If not, let's get out of here, man.
I'll end the show with a dagger from Jay Kuda on X, who usually posts the White Sox memes. No starting quarterback with a last name less than 5 letters long has won a Super Bowl ever.
Yeah,
So incredible.
yeah. He has a couple other tidbits in that tweet too, right? Like the
he does.
2 other quarterbacks with the DM initials have both lost, and it's like Donovan McNabb and Marino as well. And there's one more in there that I just cannot remember for the life of me. So, all right, let's get out of here. No final thoughts? No. I will say, last final thought from me is that this is a pretty middling slate overall. Like, I don't feel like there's a lot that we really love. So, I know we kind of said this yesterday, came out as it did. Keep that in mind as we go into today. All right, let's get out of here. Thank y'all for listening. As always, my name is Joshua Reimer, and we will see y'all here tomorrow.